Amy met her, and it's late, but I don't give a shit. So, Extreme Rules was actually, as promised, a very good show. And honestly, I think that having the whole night with Extreme Rules matches was a good idea. And yeah, I mean, very cool to see what they did creatively in these stipulation matches, including the ladder match, which I'll get to. But yeah, let's not waste any time. So we started the night off with the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium, and this was a really good match. Obviously, no disappointments here. I mean, Sheamus and Walter or Gunther really beat the shit out of each other. You know, there was a lot of big slaps. You have Butch and Ridge, who really took it to Giovanni and Ludwig. And, you know, it was just one of those things where they wrestled everywhere. They fought everywhere. You have the barrels, you have chairs, you have everything in this match. And, yeah, you know, there was a point where Pete Dunne was by himself in the ring. But, you know, you have Sheamus, who won the match for his team. So, I mean, we'll see what happens come Survivor Series. I don't know what they're going to do for that, if they're going to do anything for that, but I guess we'll see. You have the Extreme Rules match, the women's title for SmackDown, Liv Morgan versus Rowdy Ronda Rousey, and Liv started off strong. I gotta say that she really proved her own, and I think that was pretty fucking cool. You know, a very good match, and you know, near the end, Ronda took over, and it was Ronda trying to get Liv in that leg move, whatever it was. I can't even remember for some reason, but you have this match, and the ending, it was like Ronda being a pit bull, not letting go of the Liv Morgan, who was trying to escape, who eventually passed out. Rewarding the match to Ronda, and Ronda being the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Now, it's kind of interesting because as she was fading, she had a smile on her face, which, from what I've read, it's kind of like they're having her as a psychotic character, but she's still a hell of a wrestler. So we'll see what happens in the future with her, because she could very well be SmackDown Women's Champion again. So, I mean, we'll see where that goes. The strap match, Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre, and the match didn't start for a while. You have Drew have the strap put on him. Karrion looked at it, threw it down, beat the shit out of Drew. Karrion just basically, yeah, did all he could to soften him up before the match. Eventually, Karrion got his ass kicked, and then Drew put the strap on him. Match started, and very good. I mean, these two really went to town on each other. They really showed their strength, and I think the fact of the matter is that both guys have a very good monster face heel connection. I mean, Karrion Kross, I can see be a very good wrestler, a very good champion in the future in WWE. And I know the first time was the shits, but I think he's definitely going to be better as time goes on. But Drew was going to go for Claymore, and Scarlett stood in front of him. I didn't know what was going to happen. And then she takes out pepper spray, sprays him in the eyes. A very good sell from Drew. But yeah. So yeah, they're, carrying one match, which I thought was a good call, and I think that's what we said. We wanted this to happen, and I'm glad it did, because it shows that now you're gonna take Karrion Kross seriously. I was watching this match, and I know that a lot of people have said, "Oh, the audience doesn't react," and there's canned noise and all that stuff. With Triple H era, I think the fans in attendance really enjoy the show, and I'm hoping they still react. And there were some people that were legit, like, cheering and whatever, but this was a good match, and I'm pretty sure they're not done. Like, it's kind of like a cheating thing, where I think if they do have another match, then I would think that Scarlett would be banned from ringside, but we'll see. You have the ladder match for the Raw Women's title, and this was good too. Both these women used the ladders to their advantage. Obviously, in a ladder match, shit's gonna go down. So it was very nice to see these women go at it in the ring. Very cool, and I mean, both very talented. And honestly thinking, despite Damage Control interfering in the later part of the match, which kind of was like, well, where's Asuka and Alexa Bliss? Well, Asuka's injured right now, so I can't see Alexa just by herself coming down. So, anyways, yeah. Somehow, Bianca basically got up the ladder and retrieved the title. Still your Raw Women's Champion. So, to me, that's very fucking awesome. And, again, unlike Liv Morgan, for some reason, they still believe in a Bianca Belair. And that's not a bad thing. I just think that it's a shame they didn't think of Liv as a legit champion. Even though she had the title since SummerSlam, then it was one of those things where, it could have been further. Bianca had the title since WrestleMania, and we'll see what happens with that, because there's gonna come a time very shortly where I could see Bayley with the title. And then, again, like I said before, all Damage Control, we have all three women as champions. So, this match, I Quit match, Finn Balor versus Edge, and seeing Finn Balor come out in the mask now, I think the first thing, because I watched it on Epico at real time, so when I saw it, it was like, I saw the highlights, and I was like, okay. So, instantly thought that Finn looked like a member of Demolition. So, then I saw it again when I came back to my apartment on my TV, and yeah, it looked more like a Pinhead tribute or whatever. The spikes were pretty cool. But this match was very fucking amazing, because you saw these two really beat the shit out of each other. You had a lot of holds, very good holds. You had them outside. They have Edge taking out a hockey stick, and I, thinking about it, going, well, I believe that people are going to say, well, he's Canadian, so of course he did that, but at the same time, Philadelphia has a good hockey team as well, so, and like I said before, you have just as many American hockey teams as there are Canadians, so, yeah. But anyways, this was a good match, and of course, Judgment Day came down to interfere, and then, they beat the shit out of Edge. They handcuff him to the ropes. Then out come Rey Mysterio. Now, he was obviously alone, so he got his ass kicked. And then at some point, Beth Phoenix came down. So she was face to face with Rhea. Now, she was able to get the handcuffs off of Edge. So Edge, of course, spearing Damian Priest, and then, of course, being face to face with Dominic. Now, Dominic had extended his hand, kind of like a fake, false, whatever. I have a history dating back to Clash of the Castle, and of course, you have Edge kick Dominic in the balls. And obviously, you know that Dominic remembered to wear a fucking cup! So, again, just went downhill from there, because then they got Edge and they beat him up again, and we had the brass knucks hit Beth in the back of the head. She went down like a sack of potatoes. So they're holding Edge, forcing her to watch Rhea do the one-man concerto, which actually she was about to do. Then Edge basically quit. So Finn Balor won by a sticky thing, which is a heel tactic, and it's appropriate for that. But Rhea hit her in the head anyways with the concerto, and I guess Beth is out. I guess Edge is, who knows? I mean, he's off and on in WWE, so we'll see what happens. But I know it's not over. There's going to be a match, I'm sure, with Beth and Edge and Rhea and whoever is going to join. But yeah, so was it disturbing? A little bit. There's Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins in a cage. Yes, the fight pit with Daniel Cormier as the special guest referee, and this was a really good match. And Matt is very comfortable in the cage and basically using that to his advantage, like he did with Timothy Thatcher. So very cool. Yeah, Seth dressed up as Rob Van Dam, so that was pretty interesting. So they basically fought, putting holds on each other, and they eventually made their way up into the platform. And yeah, Seth got knocked down and thrown off, which prompted Matt to jump off onto Seth, and that was very scary because I'm afraid of heights, so I can only fucking imagine. But yeah, so again, Matt Riddle wins by submission. I'm not sure if this feud is over. It might be, because judging by last night's Raw, you have a new thing with Seth, who just won the US title, and he might have a match or two with Mustafa Ali. So I have Daniel and Matt Riddle on the entranceway, then the lights go off. And you're like, okay, the show should be over by now, but then the lights go back on, and have, like, different variations of, like, Rambling Rabbit, and Mercy the Buzzard, and the Witch, Sister Abigail. And then lights go, I see this door. It eventually opens, and here comes Bray Wyatt, and the audience cheers, and just the loudest ovation. And I think too that seeing him on SmackDown and out of character, I would have said, if I were him, hey, this isn't Bray Wyatt, the character, this is Wyndham Rotunda, but whatever. A lot of people said, well, that's just a hoax. He wasn't actually like that. He wasn't. It was an act. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. Because what he said in that ring on SmackDown was the truth. 100% I shoot, I believe. So, anyways, so yes, that was Extreme Worlds, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Anymore. So you know that them cutting WCW was a long time coming. But I think that there's this myth out there that Jamie Keller is
Gnarly.
that's why he took pleasure in cutting WCW. I don't think that's the case at all. Because if you look at some of his earlier interviews, like